Hello and welcome to the Face Building Podcast, episode 78, with your lovely and amazing host, Vladi.
And Norman Greater. Hi, guys.
Hello and good day. Today's topic is all about routines, or maybe we can call it habits, or we can call it daily disciplines. Are they good? Are they counterproductive? Are there something in between? Should you have daily routines? Do they help? Do they hurt? Do they harm? Where is the truth? And as always, we share from our own experience. And I think the biggest learning based on all our learnings, Vladi and mine, after all those years, is yes, it helps, but don't overdo it. And we will dig into that a little deeper. And I want to start with my side of our talking round. Do I have a daily routine? Yes, I do. The routine I have for sure is a sports routine because I figured it helps my back. Like sitting in a car a lot or sitting on the desk a lot, it has an effect basically on my lower back, sitting all the time and sitting not in a very straight position. And therefore, I realize if I don't do my sports routine, I suffer. Maybe not if I don't do it for 1 day or 2 days, but if I skip it for a whole week. And we just came back from Egypt from our dolphin trip, and it was very warm. So when the sun goes up at probably at 5:30, it's still okay where there's still some shadow. But as soon as the sun is up, it's a challenging thing to do. And I did it for the whole time. I think I just skipped it on the last day when we flew home. But otherwise, I did it every day and I was very proud of myself. And I know it helps me. So even though when I have days where I say, oh, I don't feel like it, usually I push through, unless like this morning I need to leave at 6 and I was in bed at 1 or 1:30 because we went to a concert. No, then I don't get up at 4. Because if I have to sit and drive for another 6.5 hours, no, that's way too much. But of course, I will go jogging now in 20 minutes with a friend. So I really kind of squeeze it in, even though if it's not the same time. With other routines, I'm more loose. I used to meditate every morning, what I don't do every morning anymore. And probably we'll talk about why we do something or why we stop from time to time. But like I said, the sports routine is very, very important, and that's something that I do really, really every day. Unless there are the special days where I don't do it, and that's another learning I had. Don't really feel bad and punish yourself all day long and say, "Oh, I didn't do it. Oh my God, what will happen?" No, take it as it comes. Your body will always give you the right message. If it was okay, and if you pick up the next day, all is well. Vladi, how about you?
I love what you're saying because the truth is, if we recorded this same episode 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago now, you would be having completely different answers from us because when we dived into the personal development, I've gone nuts. Like my routines were like crazy. And Bob said, it takes about 21 days to reprogram a habit. Like you have to stick with something. If you make a decision to do something like wake up early in the morning, let's say you make a decision that you wake up at 5 a.m., you're joining the 5 a.m. club. I love the 5 a.m. club, by the way. But I'm like Norman said, there are periods of times when I was working on projects till 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. And I used to wake up at 5 and actually affected my health in a longer run. So I'd be very careful what routines you need to balance it. I don't quite like the word balance. I don't know why, but if you can find a harmony in between and synchronize it, that's the key. Because unless you are trained or disciplined, and when I say disciplined, in fact, I'll tell you this, I am known for determination. And I know that lots of people, when we were doing some tests, they've actually said that determination should be my middle name. And I love discipline. I thrive on discipline. I'm a Virgo as well. So, in the zodiac sign, you can imagine I like organization and everything. I was doing it too much. I needed to let go of some of the routine. There are some people who have everything loose, and those people need more discipline. It's about giving yourself a command and following it. So when you say, oh, I'm going to exercise, and then you do it 2 days and then you skip and you never finish it, you make decisions which you don't pull through, that becomes the indecisiveness becomes a habit as well. And it also becomes quitting becomes a habit. So it then goes into any area of your life. whether it's your love life, whether it's your money and financial freedom, and whether it's your health and well-being, your job, you will say, oh, I would love to write a book, but then you don't. Oh, I would love to start this exercise with the friends, but then you don't. Oh, I'd like to take up on a new sport, but you don't. And actually, I love do it now. Whatever you make a decisions, but don't make 10 decisions to start 10 new habits to be a discipline and then actually don't do it. Choose one and stick with it for 21 days. We used to do the 30, 60, 90 routine with Bob, which was go for 30 days. If you want to really change your habits, stick with 60. And if you really want to uproot the old one, go for 90. I always went for 90. I love the good challenge, but I've picked up too much sometimes at the same time. And Norman can vouch for this. He used to say, do less, because I was just overdoing it. But I was so silly in a way, not listening, close-minded in the way. No, I can do it, I can do anything. And it can actually combine with your conditions and harm you in a long run. So is routine great? Yes, but is the routine serving you? Is the routine and discipline serving you right now? Because you are a new person. Who you are today, you were a different person last year. Is your dream and goal the same? You have to align what you're doing and look at it, because it may, if you keep doing things in the same way, nothing will change. So it really comes down to, I would love to get healthier. I want to get fitter. I really want to look well. So you need to really schedule it. If you don't schedule it, you won't do it. I was coaching last week girls, and I was telling them, you have to I want you to pick up one new habit. Take on something to learn a new skill, not a habit, it's a skill, but obviously you have to create habits to learn the new skill, and choose something you've never done before and you don't know how to do, and go for it. And then I thought, like, well, I should probably do it with them, right? I can't be telling them to pick up a new habit and don't do it myself. I said to them, fine, I'm going to take on netball. I've never played it. In our country, netball isn't a thing. My daughter plays it well, but I never really watch her because I'm too busy with either reading or listening to meditations or chatting to someone. And I said, I will do it. We got home. I texted my best friend. I already went on Monday night for the ladies' netball. I had no idea about the rules. And I said, keep stopping me. Like I was whistled a couple of times, broke the rules. And then at the end of the match, the coach said, you've never played it before. Like, you should have told me. She said, oh my God, and me telling you. I said, that's how I learned the best. Because if they stop you in that learning process, I loved it. It started chucking down. It was that summer hot rain, but they're like, what is going on? Should we stop it? It's like, no, we played in rain for an hour. And she said, this is not a great start for you, but I've made a decision. So I'm going to pull through it. And I joined this team and I'm going to play Monday nights and netball. And I said to girls, next year, I want to see us going for Olympics. Obviously, this is fun because I like to push myself to the really really learn the new skill. So what is it that you're doing? Can you write down 10 habits that are very good and you actually being habitual about them? Maybe there is a routine in the morning you're doing at lunchtime. And look at it again and tell us that it's serving you. Like Norman said, it's like, I had such a strong morning routine between 5 and 7. Always it was a half an hour exercise. It was a meditation. It was an exercise. Always the same thing. Obviously not the same exercise, but same kind of routine. And then it gets too much and you just become so habitual that it is no longer working for you. You need to change things. If you want different results, you have to find a new way. Norman, back to you.
Yeah, it's so true what you're saying. Change it. I realized while I listened to you that I think I started with my sports routine. It must have maybe 15 years ago. I used to have a coach. I forgot his name, but he was from the UK. And I said, I want to get more fit. And he suggested a video by Mac Newton. The Mac Newton video is 7 minutes. And he said, do this every day. So that's what I did. I really did it every day. And it's interesting. I really do it since more than 15 years. And at one point, I had as a goal my own show in Las Vegas. This was a big goal. I want to have my own show in Vegas. And as I'm in Vegas, at least in my mind, I want to work with the best, with Cirque du Soleil. They have many shows in Vegas. I went online on YouTube and I said, are there any training videos by Cirque du Soleil artists that I can train? Because if I would be in Vegas, I would train with them live. As I was not in Vegas, I could train with them virtually. And eventually I found some videos and I started doing that. And I realized if I just do the same routine every day, like Vladi just said, it gets boring. So what I started doing, I had two Cirque du Soleil routines and one McNewton routine. And I changed them. Like one day it was McNewton, the second day it was Cirque du Soleil 1, third day Cirque du Soleil 2. And right now I'm up to similar routine, McNewton day 1 plus Cirque du Soleil 3, day 2 Cirque du Soleil 2 plus Cirque du Soleil 3. So out of those 3, I do usually 2 the same day. And this works. And Anke asked me just the other day, he said, isn't that getting you bored? Is this boring doing the same thing every day? I said, I'm not doing the same thing every day. I mix it up every second day. But of course, then it starts again. Yes, the mind knows what's coming. And what Vladi just shared is so important. I also used to have a long routine, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, the meditation, the sports, the this, the that, the writing down the goals, the habits, everything. It's great to change your self-image and the habits and your attitude. Still, if it gets too much, you don't get stuff done because your routine is so long and draining you so much that depending what time you start, like if you start at 4, you still have the full day, but if you sleep until 9 and then you do your routine, then it's 11, 11:30, half day is over. And of course, there's nothing wrong with it. You can work till late at night. There's totally no issue with that. It's just I've realized sometimes it was more of a burden to do all those things. Then I started to make a weekly list, doing the Tony Robbins breath work on Monday, doing Dr. Joe Dispenza on Tuesday, doing the Dan Brule breath work on Wednesday. I kind of mixed it, but I realized no, that's not it. And at one point, I just went with the flow and said, besides the sports routine, what do I feel like today? Because your body always gives you the right response. And I want to add something we spoke about before. I don't know which episode. It was about coffee and about energy drinks.
Yeah.
Yesterday I had energy drink because after this 1 week in Egypt and a flight and everything, I was very tired. Then I had a friend coming. We went to a concert. I showed him Berlin. So at one point in the afternoon, I was quite tired and I thought, now we have the sound check and a meet and greet and a concert and I need some energy. So I took an energy drink. And of course, I realized whenever I take an energy drink, I'm more drowned the next day. We spoke about it before, Vladi.
Yeah.
It's obvious your body is tired and says, just put me to sleep or give me some rest. And you say, a little longer, just half a day. So you survive, which kind of bites you in the butt the next day. We came home at 1:30, went to bed at 5:30, my alarm clock went off, 6 something, I left. Drove for 5.5, 6 hours. Came here, unpacked the luggage, picked up the kids, went shopping, and then I was totally down and out. And I had 2 options. Energy drink number 2, just to keep me up and kind of survive the afternoon, or just say, I go now and rest. So I put myself down 2 hours to rest and sleep. And of course, I was totally groggy afterwards. It's obvious. And I still am. Still, that's what my body needs. So don't push it to the limit. Don't push yourself every day, even though people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and other great mentors say you need to push and push over your boundaries and over your limits to achieve stuff. Yeah, you can do that. And like Vladi said in the beginning, 8 years ago, we would have told you a totally different thing. We said, yeah, you need to push through and really go hard. By now I say, no, the way needs to be fun. It's not about achieving a goal. It's about having fun on the way. And if fun on the way is a burden and a push and a suffering, no, I'm putting out the wrong energy. And probably that's the reason why I started changing stuff and said, I focus on this very day. I'm in on the things that do me well in this moment on this very day. And I cannot schedule it because I know it on the day I am in. Basically, I know it in the now. Do I feel like going jogging in 15 minutes? Heaven, no. Not at all. And therefore, it's always good to have a partner that rings your bell and says, let's go. And you're like, okay. So if you should always go in the trap and say after 2, 3, 4 days and you have muscular fever a little bit and something itches and scratches and you say, stop it for 1 day, and then you stop it for 2 days and for 3 days, get a buddy that really pulls you out, that picks you up, that does something similar, because that also helps you at least in the beginning. At a certain point, you don't need it.
It's
So
an insurance policy. I love what you're saying because that's the key. If you're not disciplined enough, in a meaning like you tell yourself what you're going to do and you know you're going to stick with it, which not many people do actually, like it's kind of, I think you're born with it or you have to really develop it. But find a buddy, because the truth is when you have one, you're very likely not to give up. Because there are those moments like the alarm clock goes on, or you just feel like, oh my God, like today, or it's too hot, or, like the excuses our body makes, it's crazy. And it does make it. I was saying to Norman, I started going back to swimming in the morning. So I have to wake up at 5 and be at the pool at 6. And, first day, enthusiasm. I was like, yeah, the alarm clock went on. And I was like, yeah. Second day, not so much. I was like, oh, fuck, do I have to do it every day? But do you know what I do? I go straight into the feeling when I'm leaving the pool and how I feel then. And actually, that brings me, my whole body reacts to or responds to the emotion I feel afterwards. That's how you should think. It's like if there is something you really hate doing, and I'm going to say that lovingly, but hate doing, imagine how you feel afterwards. If it's still something you hate doing, and it's something Norman was talking about, ask yourself, why am I doing it? Am I doing it really for myself or for someone else? Because many habits you're creating to please someone else, or to compete with someone else, or to be comparing yourself with someone else. Just because they run, I will never be a runner. I love jogging. I love swimming. I love rowing. But if somebody asks me for running, and I do join girls for a running, but I'm like, you know what? You keep going. We'll meet back here at whatever time. And I just jog. For me, I can't get the speed they do. But what Norman was talking about, I really wanted to touch upon. When there is like athletes, they have to push themselves because what they want with their goal is they want to break it. So they have to push and push and push with the limits. However, they're only doing that one thing. They're not being athletes and best cook and best business person. They're focusing on that one being, and their entire being is training in that one field. And what we don't do these days, we create too many routines and don't stick with them. And I love how, and I don't know who I've learned this from. Maybe Norman will tell you, because I always said add on a habit to an existing habit. So while your habit is to make a coffee every single morning because that's what you love doing and that's something that you want to keep going, add the habit of doing 15 squats every morning to do the coffee. Every time you brush your teeth, add the habit, I'm lifting my legs 30 times both sides. Now, sometimes I do it 50 times. But I know that while I'm brushing my teeth, I want to lift my right and left leg 30 times. Now, if you think about that, it's not adding any extra time to me. I brush my teeth at least twice. So if you do it morning and evening, that's already 60 times each leg. If you add it up times 7 per week and time all the months, you're going to end up doing that for quite a lot of times. And then 15 squats every time I make coffee. Let's say you make 2-3 coffees a day. That's going to add up to it. So you don't then have to say, well, I don't have a time to go to the gym. I hate going to the gym. If you actually take stairs instead of just a little habit and discipline, like instead of going by the car or elevators, elevators and all these metros and airports, I'm going to walk up and down. That's my habit. Whenever we're at the airport or something, even if it's heavy, I actually take the stairs, regardless of, so I never take the elevators. And I'm half of them thinking, what the heck was I thinking with this suitcase? And you can see all the 2 lines from left and the right, people just riding, smiling at you, or you like in the middle of the staircase, sweating, thinking if I could just run over and just get on the stairs. But those little things are healthy habits for your long term without have to add a routine. And when Norma was talking about exercises, Once it becomes easy, it means you trained your body to do it. So change it. Because we actually start doing something. When I went back to swimming, I thought like I could just swim an hour nonstop. I always swim nonstop. I don't stop. For an hour, I can just go. I had to stop. And I was thinking it wasn't actually the pain of the muscles, it was the breathing, because I got off the habit of doing the stuff that breathes and jogs and all the. So you add the habits that support what you noticing that you need to strengthen. So you're choosing your own habit or discipline that it's going to help you. And if it helps your health, it will genuinely help your mind as well. It will help every area of your life. So it's really important that you distinguish what habits you're creating, and remember that it is just a muscle and memory as well. So it's whether you're doing the habits, look at your own, get inspired by people, because I used to be one of those who would look at the masters and we were so desperate, like, tell us exactly, Bob, like, what do you do? How do you breathe? Almost that kind of silly. And these questions, I cannot tell you over the years how many clients I've seen asking the questions, like, give me your exact routine so I can achieve what you're achieving. You will never achieve what other people are achieving with their routines. It's inspiring, but you have to create your own. But get inspired, look at them, because this is who you're listening to. You're listening to someone who has results. So obviously you're adopting a great habit and a discipline, but adjust it to you. Norman, do you remember when we had to write the goals 50 times a day? One
Yeah.
goal, one sentence, 50 times every day for 90 days. In fact, I wrote it for 120 days because I wanted to be completely, I always went to extremes. I used to hate it. And I said to my mentor, Phil Goldfine, who is our producer in Hollywood, I said to him, I hate writing my goals 50 times. My whole body is actually not liking it. And he said to me, okay, let me give you an affirmation. So write this down. I'm so happy and grateful now that I write my goal with joy and fun 50 times each and every day. And I was thinking, are you serious? You want me to write an affirmation about writing an affirmations on the goals? But you know what? You do it, and it does shift something. We hate doing it, and I haven't stuck with doing it. I'm not doing it now, by the way. I'm not writing my goals 50 times. In fact, I don't write it even every day. I do read it every day, but I try and write it once with my left hand. So non-dominant hand, just to reprogram the neural pathways. But what would you love? What makes you feel? Because the key is, how do you feel now? What Norman said, focus on one day. Does this make me feel good now? It's the key to everything. If it doesn't make you feel good, okay, we do have to do few things in life that doesn't make us feel good, but focus on the joy and the feeling, because the joy in the journey is actually the imminent instantaneous success. It's not the destination. It's who you become in the process that actually matters. Norman, back to you to wrap it up with whatever you like.
It's so true. While I was listening to you, I also figured out, and Vladi and I are big fans of human design. Make sure you know yourself. What Vladi just said. Of course, it's great to have a mentor who is where you want to be. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger had a training plan from the actor of Hercules. I forgot his name, but he followed exactly the routine. Always pick a mentor that is where you want to be and who was where you are today, because this routine will help you. If they had a different starting point, it just will not help you. In addition, know yourself much better, and you can use human design like the two of us use, because if you're a generator, the name already says it, you can generate, you can go. But if you, like myself, are a reflector, and I was in the midst of people yesterday during the concert, I was in row number 2. I think I was never in row number 2. It was hot. I was sweating. I was being pushed left and right, standing there all the time, then going through Berlin with my friend around people. This really drains me because I kind of reflect the energy of the others. And if there are more people, that's really stressful for me, but it's not stressful for a generator or for a projector. And therefore, you cannot really say, oh, I am like, or I want to behave like. If he or she is totally different, like energy-wise from you, you will burn out yourself by potentially doing the right thing, but you don't. So always make sure you know yourself much better. Listen to your body. Take tools probably like human design. Look into that. See what's good for you. Choose mentors that are where you want to be and that have been where you are right now. And this is the best advice we want to give you for today. We look forward to episode 79 and wish you a wonderful week. All the best. And I will go jogging now. Until next week.
Have
Thanks.
fun. Bye,
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.